A former paramedic is now charged with manslaughter after a man died in custody. What we're learning this morning about the case. With more than 170 people still missing from the last round of deadly floods, a Texas community is bracing for another wave of severe weather this weekend. And with multiple wildfires burning in our state right now, it might be a good time to brush up on your own emergency plans. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Erica Lopez. We do want to get a look at your Saturday morning forecast with meteorologist Jaden Knowles. It's been a really foggy start to the morning. It's lifting slightly. We've seen the sun trying to peek through, Jaden.
Right. Well, the good news, Erica, I do believe in the next hour or so that we should see more sunshine and that fog will start to lift. We got winds out of the south now. That's those downsloping winds. So that's going to help improve our visibility, I should say. So far, current temperatures nice and cool. If you're out on a nice morning stroll or a nice morning jog like our senior meteorologist Chris Bianchi is right now, take the advantage because we are expecting some more showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. We'll talk more about that here shortly. Current temperatures, the upper 50s and 60s, the eastern plains, 40s and 50s in the high country. Here's your current visibility. It has already improved at DIA. It was at 2 miles early on this morning, now at 5. So that's some good news there. And live radar, not much going on. There's a little bit of mist there, but for the most part, your dog walking forecast, as I mentioned, definitely take advantage now. Shout out to Mr. Max there right behind me, but you can see yellow paws for this afternoon. We will have more details about the timing and the impacts of your Saturday afternoon in my full forecast. Erica?
Jaden, thank you so much. New this morning, a girl in Brighton was hit by a car while riding her bike. Brighton police first posted about the incident around 7 o'clock yesterday evening. This crash happened at South 5th Avenue and East Egbert Street. Around 8 o'clock last night, police gave an update that the crash involved a minor. We know she was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Now, we called Brighton police this morning. We got a bit of an update. They said the driver did stay on scene after the crash, but they did not have any information about the girl's age and how she's doing this morning, or if the driver could be facing charges. A former paramedic is being charged with manslaughter for the death of a man in custody. He died in Boulder nearly 7 months ago, but the charges were announced on Friday. Police were called to CU's Center for Innovation and Creativity about a suspicious person. They arrived to find 36-year-old Jesus Lopez Barcenas. Police say when they tried to arrest him, he tried to grab an officer's gun. Prosecutors say American Medical Response paramedic Edward McClure sedated Barcenas, placed him face down, handcuffed, and strapped to a gurney. An EMS educator that we spoke to says the prone position is something he and many others have advised against for years.
The primary goal is to protect patient life and safety. But when one of these tragic events occurs, everybody involved, unfortunately, suffers, and it does not have to be this way.
In a statement, AMR says the paramedic was terminated after an internal investigation showed that he violated county protocol. McClure turned himself in yesterday. He is out on a personal recognizance bond. Well, a man accused of stabbing 2 homeless men to death in Aurora has been charged with murder. The 17th Judicial District Attorney's Office charged Ricky Roybal Smith with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Roybal Smith was 6 months into his latest parole stint when this happened. He's also accused in the death of his cellmate at the jail in downtown Denver the morning after those stabbings. He is due back in court on July 14th. Denver Metro Crime Stoppers is offering a reward for information in a deadly shooting. Police say someone shot Tejan Thomas in his home at the Renaissance Lowry Boulevard Apartments. That's just off Alton Way. The shooting happened around 9:30 on Tuesday night. If you know what happened, you're asked to call 720-913-7867. Tipsters can stay anonymous and earn up to $2,000. Residents of Caryville, Texas held a candlelight vigil for the more than 130 people who are confirmed dead in the devastating floods there. Right now, 173 people are still missing. The hope of finding survivors is dwindling as search and rescue operations shift to recovery mode. Right now, these communities are under a threat of more flooding this weekend. Governor Abbott is urging people there to keep an eye on the forecast and listen for more information. According to the Weather Prediction Center, most of the rain will be north of the hardest hit areas in Texas, but any storm that develops could drop a lot of rain in a little bit of time. This means that there is still a flood risk. President Trump just wrapped up a visit to Central Texas to survey that storm damage. The president was in Kerr County on Friday as the community is grieving. New questions are being raised about the initial response. According to newly released dispatch audio, emergency responders asked for an alert to be sent out from a countywide system called Code Red. Take a listen.
Is there any way we can send a Code Red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
10-4 standby. We have to get that approved with our supervisor.
That request was made at 4:22 in the morning, but an alert was not issued for another hour and a half. Alerts from a more widely used system went out hours before, so they're similar to Amber Alerts. They go out automatically to your phone based on location. That is, unless you have them turned off. Now, the first one was issued at 1:14 in the morning. That alert told people, do not travel unless you're in an area that is flooding or under an evacuation order. No evacuation order, though, ever came. A reporter from a Texas news station asked President Trump about those warning systems.
Several families we've heard from are obviously upset because they say that those warnings, those alerts didn't go out in time, and they also say that people could have been saved. What do you say to those families?
I just have admiration for the job that everybody did. There was just admiration. The only bad person would ask a question like that, to be honest with you. I don't know who you are, but only a very evil person would ask a question like that.
Trump previously suggested a major warning system could be established, but he didn't offer many details on what that would look like. Texas's flood alert system is now part of the agenda for the state's upcoming special session. Texas native and country music singer George Strait is planning a benefit concert to help those impacted by the flooding. It's scheduled for July 27th. Other artists that are set to perform include William Beckman, Ray Benson, and Wade Bowen. Strait said the goal was to offer meaningful and immediate support put directly in the hands of flood victims. He added that the show will also honor first responders. Our parent company, Tegna, has also created a way for everyone to help support those flood victims. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now to donate, and then we have all of this information on our website, 9news.com. Within the last hour, President Trump announced new 30% tariffs against the European Union and Mexico. Those hikes will start on August 1st. In a letter to Mexico, the president said the country has not done enough to stop the flow of illegal drugs into the states. And in the letter to the European Union, the president called the U.S. trade deficit a national security threat. New this morning, we're getting a first look at what may have caused the tragic Air India plane crash. According to a preliminary report, fuel switches to both engines were cut off shortly after the plane took off. The plane crashed shortly after takeoff. The impact killed 241 people on board and 29 more on the ground. Only one person on that plane survived the crash. Now, this report is only preliminary. A final report could take weeks to be released. This morning, we're also learning how a notorious convicted murderer escaped from a prison. This is the case of the so-called devil in the Ozarks. So his real name is Grant Hardin. He's a former police chief. Investigators say he escaped using a fake law enforcement uniform. He made it by using a Sharpie to color old prison-issued clothing. He designed a homemade badge from a can lid and a button and a Bible cover. This disguise was apparently convincing enough to trick a tower guard into opening up the gate and letting him walk out. NBC asked how long investigators think that Hardin planned his escape.
Not a specific. It had probably been, the ballpark of 6 to 8 months as to when he was probably actively getting the material together, starting to manufacture the uniform.
That is wild. 2 Arkansas prison employees have been fired. Hardin was eventually found 1.5 miles from the prison. He's now been moved to a Supermax facility and faces new escape charges for which he has pleaded not guilty. Back here in Colorado, Governor Jared Polis wants a Denver judge to toss a lawsuit preventing the state from sharing personal information with ICE. Now, this comes as 9 News has discovered ICE has asked for the state's help 4 times so far this year. Colorado's Department of Labor and Employment has received 4 subpoenas from ICE this year asking for people's personal information. The department would not tell us how the state responded, though. We know about the state's response to the last subpoena because a state employee sued Polis to prevent the information from being shared. A judge granted a temporary injunction preventing sharing information with ICE, but Polis just filed a motion to dismiss the case on Friday. John Elway has been officially cleared in the investigation into a golf cart crash in Southern California. The incident killed his longtime friend and agent Jeff Spurbeck. Back in April, Spurbeck died after falling off the golf cart and hitting his head. Elway was driving that golf cart. The Riverside County Sheriff's Office told our Broncos insider Mike Kliss this investigation is officially over. They determined that nothing criminal happened.